The slinger belt stopped, but the scale conveyor feeding it did not. The operator is finding out the hard way that his interlock failed. This shutdown did not help his production and mix quality any.
Plants are equipped with interlocks to shut down equipment feeding other equipment that has stopped. In this scenario, the mixing drum motor draws too much current and overloads the starter. Consequently, the mixing drum stops. What conveying devices should stop when the mixing drum stops? Choose the only one that will not be shut down. The correct answer is D, drag slat conveyor.
Handle hot liquid asphalt carefully and safely. Why is it important to set up safety practices for handling liquid asphalt cement? For years, many of us have been exposed to the hazards of handling liquid asphalt cement. Common sense is our basic tool for practicing safety. These practices seem so obvious and not worth writing down. However, all too often, we hear of accidents in which workers with years of experience are injured because their actions were not safe. Safety is not an accident. Written safety practices and training provide the basis for encouraging both experienced and inexperienced workers to think and act safely. If you have not done so, this is a good time to copy the attachment by pressing the paperclip below. Personal protection equipment. Clothing. Long sleeve shirts and long pants are essential. Do not wear synthetic clothing, for it will melt onto your skin when exposed to hot asphalt. Safety glasses. A full-faced visor with safety glasses should be worn at all times. Gloves. Wear gloves that are suitable for handling hot objects. Hard hats and safety shoes should always be worn. This is an example of the labeling required by OSHA to instruct personnel in the exposure vicinity about the type of PPE to be wearing before exposure to this particular piece of equipment. Labeling is custom to each piece of equipment. Some pieces may require more protection than others. Scenario: full production. A flight lets loose and jams up in the discharge, causing the drum to come to a screeching halt. Lock out the component and its input and outputs. Consider stored energy and confined space when developing this procedure. Download the lockout confined space written procedure by clicking the paperclip below. Fill in the appropriate fields in the Word document. Print it out and catalog it in a notebook. Use it at your safety meeting. Save the file to your computer. Email it to your safety director. Keep in mind, this is a mid-production breakdown. The job has just been put on hold, and this drum mixer is half full of hot, dry aggregate, and the other half full of asphalt mix. Besides wearing PPE, consider the temperature and the atmosphere. When asking plant operators when to go in, many reply, when it gets cool enough. What is cool enough? Do you wait an hour, 2 hours, 15 minutes? We suggest leaving the fans on to cool it down and vent all the gases to atmosphere. Observe the dryer exit gas temperature and use that as a gauge to determine when the atmosphere is comfortable enough for the PPE protected worker to enter.
You know the drill. Lockout. Consider stored energy and confined space. Someone has to go in and retrieve that bag that is wrapped up in the auger. Which item should be performed first? Review the Baghouse suggested lockouts on the Lockout Space Occupancy Procedure form. The correct answer is B. Backflush the bags. We changed this module to safe meter usage instead of meter usage because this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where you take your knowledge and put it into practice. If a mistake were made, this is where consequences get to be the greatest. Before we get excited about fixing things while in harm's way, let's get excited about protecting ourselves while in harm's way. Seatbelts, airbags, and defensive driving do not prevent all fatalities, but they take a big bite out of taking risks, and now the odds are more in our favor. Shock, electrocution, arc flash, and arc blast are responsible for 1 fatality every workday in the U.S., and some 8,000 workers are treated in emergency rooms for electrical contact injuries each year. Enjoy the electrical challenge. Put your seatbelt on, drive defensively, and hope your airbag works. When you touch the test leads, which are still connected to the current terminals on the meter, to the voltage buses, a direct short across the source voltage occurs inside the handheld meter through a low value resistor. A very high current will flow through the test leads and the meter. If you're working in an area with very low circuit impedance, this fault current can be thousands of amperes or even tens of thousands of amperes. The test leads and the meter circuitry are not designed to handle such a high current. The test lead or the meter will cause an open circuit. When this happens, an arc will form across the open part of the circuit. If it is not immediately controlled, the arc will cause the air in the vicinity to become superheated and convert into a plasma, which is conductive, and allow even more current to flow through the air. This is called arc flash. In extreme cases, it releases the same amount of energy as a few sticks of dynamite. An arc flash victim may suffer fatal burn injuries from the fierce heat. Could this happen? Absolutely.